negative 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, and 2, 4. Okay? Now in this case, these are not going to be really straight lines. They actually do arch a little bit. Okay? And does anybody know what the shape's called? Anybody seen this before? Know what it's called?
This doesn't it begin with like a B?
It starts with a P.
Oh, a parabola.
A parabola. Okay? A parabola. So it's like, it looks like a U. Okay? It looks like a U. Okay? So a parabola. So would you call this linear or nonlinear? Nonlinear. Okay? So it's not a line, so it's nonlinear. Okay. So now, main thing you guys need to get out today is that input, output. I'm going to push something in, get something out. Okay? Input values are which ones? Which one's the input? X's, right? Whatever you plug it in. The output, it will then be your Y's. Okay? Line versus a non-line. Linear versus nonlinear. You can use a table to graph anything. So if you never know what the picture's supposed to look like on any kind of standardized test, anything that you take, if they say graph and you have no clue what the heck it's supposed to do, here's what you do. Just start plugging in points. Plug it in and just make your own table and see if you can get a quick sketch. You can do that with every single problem, even if you don't know what to do with it. You can always sketch a graph of it just by plugging in random points. Okay? That is huge when you're going to come to your next year's graduation test, because you're not going to remember everything. So what do you do when they ask you to graph? You can always make a table if you don't remember. Okay? So tables work for, I mean, I just showed you. They work for arches, these, lines. They'll work for anything. Okay? All right. So a linear equation is an equation of a line. An equation of a line. Okay, and I'm walking around. Make sure you guys have arrows on the end of all these lines. I see a lot of people without arrows. That will be points off, okay? So make sure you got arrows on everything. All right, so this is going to be our last page for today, okay? So now they're going to ask us, they're just going to give us a random table, and we have to decide whether it's a line or not a line. What are some ways we can figure out if this is a line or not? Okay, what do you think, Ashley?
If there are even amounts in between each point.
Even amounts between each point. I heard graph it. Both of you are right. Okay, if you don't know, you can always do a quick hand sketch off to the side. The only problem with that is if one number, if you're doing a hand sketch, you know that's not exact, it's not perfect. If one number was a little off, like this might have been a 10, that changes everything. Okay, so be cautious of graphing. Ashley said she's looking for even, what'd you say again?
Like even amounts between each number.
Good. Even amounts between each number. Okay, so start with your X's. Make sure there's a pattern of some sort. So in this case, we're just going up by ones. Almost always there'll be some sort of pattern in the X's. Just make sure it's there. Okay? So make sure they didn't skip over something or do something funky there. This book has a tendency to not be as tricky as our last book. Our last book would always throw in a random problem here, like accidentally give you something special over here just to see if you catch it, and most people never did. All right? This book doesn't seem to do that as often. So 0, 1, 2, 3, great. It's in counting order. Then you come over here. Okay, 3, 5, 7, 9. So what's happening between the 3 and the 5? Okay, so from here to here, right, you're adding 2. What about from 5 to 7?
Yeah.
Add 2. 7 to 9. Add 2. Okay, if you are adding or subtracting by the same amount, you're doing good. Okay, so if I'm looking here, is this a line? Yes, it's a line. It's linear. Okay, and then you'll have to be able to explain why, and you can just say they're adding 2. To the y values. Okay, so just spot check X, make sure it looks good, but our main concern is going to be the y's. Okay, all right, so take a second on number 2 and see if you think that's linear or non-linear. See what's going on there in that pattern. Okay, anybody got a theory here? Okay, he says nonlinear. Link, why do you say nonlinear?
You have a negative and a positive.
Okay, so if I look here, I'm adding 2, right?
Yeah.
Then what happens from here to here?
You,
Not 4. subtract 6. And then what happens from here to here?
Add 11.
You have to add, you're adding 11. There's no rhyme or reason there, is there? That's all chaos. It's chaos, okay? Okay, also side note, okay? It'll be nonlinear if you are multiplying or dividing. Okay? That makes it nonlinear as well. So like an example, so she just asked, if I do 0, 1, 2, 3, let's say, and down the y's here, I do 2, 4, 8, 16. Okay? So what's going on? Well, here you start looking, it's plus 2, plus 6, okay? Plus 4, but look, I'm multiplying by 2, multiplying by 2, multiplying by 2. Does that make sense? So when you're multiplying, it's not a line, okay? So if it's not addition or subtraction, it's not linear, okay? So that is what we are looking for, okay? So on a line, we are looking for addition and subtraction by the same amount. Okay, addition or subtraction by the same amount. So nonlinear, and then you would just say,
Wasn't consistently going up by a certain number.
yeah,
Increasing or decreasing.
not a constant rate would be fine. Something about that. Just talk about how it's just hodgepodge, it's all over the place. Okay? All right, last problem we're going to have time to look at today. I want you to drop down. It doesn't really matter. Okay, drop down and look at, let's do B real quick. Okay? Okay, so they're going to ask you to graph. Okay? Reminder, 0 will always be this first part, no matter what. That's non-negotiable. Okay? And then you can kind of count out. I need to go up to 20. If I can spread this out a little bit more, then my graph is going to be spread out and easier to read. Okay? So instead of counting by, since I'm going up by 10, 15, 20, okay, don't be that person that puts 10, 15, 20 here. Why is that not okay?
There's
It's
no
also
y-axis.
Well, what's here? Between here and here, how many do we have? 10. Between here and here, what do we have?
5.
And then 5. Is that the same amount? No. So don't be that person, all right? Don't be that person that doesn't have nice even units. So 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, so make sure you're not skipping over.
Oh.
Now, going up on the y's, what would you guys want to count by to get to 200?
50.
50s will work. Okay, but make sure we're putting a number on every line, and it's got to be evenly spaced. Okay, every line evenly spaced. Okay, so now 0 or 10, 100. So put a dot there. 20, 150, and then 20, 200. So there will be our line. Okay, and I'm not putting arrows on the end on this necessarily because it doesn't really say it's going up. All we know is about this little section. We don't really know what's going on past this little section. However, if you did put arrows, I wouldn't count wrong in this case. Okay? Now, make sure we have labels. So it gives you a title of summer, job, and then we have hours worked, hours, and money earned. Money.
Skip A.
Okay? Yeah, we skipped it. Okay? So make sure you put in your labels. Okay? All right, and that's all we're going to have time for right now. Here is your homework.